Welcome to Macmillan Education, the Aryans and the early Vedic age.
Wake up, Chintu. We have reached Guruji's ashram. Wake up, wake up. We are to get off now.
Finally, we've reached the ashram. What are those kids doing there?
Where, Chintu?
There, under the tree, Papa.
They are studying Rig Veda and learning about the Aryans.
Who are the Aryans, Guruji?
Have you studied about the Indus Valley civilization, Chintu?
Yes, I have. We just finished studying about it in our history books.
So right after the Indus Valley civilization ended around 1500 BCE, a new group of people who were called the Aryans arrived in northwest India from somewhere in the steppes between southern Russia to Central Asia. Since they migrated to northwest India, they are also known as Indo-Aryans.
Did they speak Hindi or Russian, Guruji?
They spoke Indo-European languages from which later Sanskrit emerged. And a lot of years later, Hindi emerged from Sanskrit. The Aryans were familiar with northwestern India and Punjab as they mention the land of 7 rivers or the Sapta Sindhu region in the Rig Veda.
Which 7 rivers are these, Papa?
These rivers were the Indus and its 5 tributaries and the Saraswati. The Saraswati and its tributary were mighty rivers around 1500 BCE, but they have dried up now. 3 Vedas were later composed when the Aryans moved southeastwards and settled down in the region of Kurukshetra. Hence, the Vedas mention the rivers Ganga and Yamuna frequently. It is North Indian heartland that ultimately came to be called Aryavarta, or the land where the Aryans settled down.
So, are you saying that the Rig Veda was written before the other 3 Vedas?
Yes, Chintu. The period of composition of the Rig Veda is called the early Vedic period.
Early Vedic period. What was that like, Guruji?
Rig Veda is the source that provides most of the information regarding the political, economic, and social life, along with the religion and recreation of the early Vedic period. Would you want to know more about them in detail, Chintu?
Yes, please, Guruji. If that won't be any trouble, it sounds very interesting.
The early Vedic society consisted of many different tribes called Janas, and every tribe had its own ruler, who was elected for his bravery and ability to lead his tribe in wars and raids. He was known as Rajan, a position not based on heredity. A Rajan's son did not automatically become a Rajan.
That is different. Usually it is the son after the father.
Not during Vedic period, Chintu. They also did not collect taxes. They managed with voluntary contributions called as Bali, which were made by members of the tribe. The Rajan took decisions in consultation with the Sabha and Samiti, which were tribal assemblies that even women could attend. The priest or Purohitas were also regarded important as they helped the Rajans and the common people in the tribe in all ritual matters. The Senani helped the Rajan in his military campaigns and wars.
Papa, doesn't this seem to be a better political system than what we have today?
It sure does. You're a smart kid. Let me tell you about their economic life. The early Aryans led a nomadic life. Though they practiced agriculture, cattle rearing was an important occupation. Their main agricultural products were wheat, barley, and cotton. They also knew about different seasons and its effects on their crops. They also kept herds of domesticated cows, bulls, oxen, horses, sheep, goats, and dogs. Cow was precious and the main form of wealth. There were crafts and craftspersons, potters, weavers, carpenters, tanners, different types of smiths, chariot makers, and jewelers. There appears to have been no regular trading then. though they did know about it. Would you want to know about their social life too, Chintu?
Sure, Guruji. I would love to.
A man's primary loyalty was to his tribe or Jannah. Society was essentially tribal and egalitarian. That means there were no major differences between the members of a tribe. Yet they did have some differentiation based on occupation. Society was divided into three main occupational groups: warriors and chieftains, priests, and the common people. The first two being the privileged groups. One of the hymns of Rig Veda, which says, "I am a poet, my father is a physician, and my mother is a grinder of corn," which clearly means people from the same family were allowed to follow different occupations. While the man of the house, the head of the family, was known as the Grihapati.
Papa, from now on, I shall call you Grihapati.
That is a nice idea, Chintu. You know, women also enjoyed a respectable position in society. Marriages and family life were considered sacred. Monogamy was practiced. Women were given opportunities for education and they had to be present during religious ceremonies. Women were also permitted to remarry and child marriages were not performed.
This was a brilliant foundation of an excellent society. Absolutely. The society was divided into four distinct castes, or varnas, based on the skill the people possessed: Brahmins or priestly class, Kshatriyas or kings and warrior class, Vaishyas or merchants, traders, farmers, etc., Shudras or menial workers. They also had Dasas or Dasyas, who were slaves, servants, or enemies subdued during war and enslaved. But during this period, there were no rigid distinction among castes. Children were sent to Gurukuls, where they lived and studied with their guru or teacher. Like the children you see there under the tree, they studied religion, philosophy, art, logic, medicine, grammar, and moral codes of conduct.
Oh, just like our schools. But we do go back home every night to our parents. Did people then dress up like us?
Men and women both wore one garment around the waist and another on the upper part of the body, wrapped around their shoulders. They also wore turbans. Women wore vasas, a type of an inner garment. Men and women both wore jewelry. They wore shoes made of wood and leather. People in this period ate grains, cereals, barley, fruits, vegetable, meat, etc. They were fond of dairy products such as milk, ghee, cottage cheese, etc. They also consumed soma and sura on festive occasions. Soma was prepared by mixing herbs and plants, and sura was a kind of liquor. People worshipped gods through recitation of prayers and hymns and performing sacrifices or yajna. Yajnas were performed to please gods to receive their blessings. At that time, people worshipped Agni, the fire god, Indra, the god of rain and thunder, Varuna, the god of wind, Surya, the sun god, Soma, the god of plants, Prithvi, the god of the earth, Yama, the god of death, and Usha, the goddess of dawn, instead of any idols in temples. During yajnas, they lit Agni in the center and sat around it. They offered to Agni what they wanted to offer to God. When smoke went up and disappeared, they believed that God had accepted their offerings. They believed that gods lived beyond the sky.
Guruji, didn't all work and no play make these people really dull?
They did have their sources of entertainment then, like chariot racing, horse racing, and hunting were most enjoyed and their favorite. Along with it, they also enjoyed game of dice, dance, and music.
Wow, that sounds fun. Guruji, can I go and sit by the kids under the tree? I would like to be a part of the learning too.
You have my permission, dear boy. May God bless you.